Every week we do what's called a community moment. It's a moment for someone from the community to get up and give a short talk about something that's going on in their life, a book that they've read, really anything that they want to discuss. This week our community moment is going to be given by Nancy Fay, and she will be discussing familiar rhymes for modern times. Nancy?
Isn't this a beautiful day? Recently, I heard something or read something that I thought was very clever, and it was a new take on Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and it went like this: Twinkle, twinkle, nuclear furnace, we're too far away for you to burn us. And I thought, that's perfect. We know what stars are now. We don't wonder what they are. So I thought, might be a good idea to update some of the nursery rhymes that we've heard for a long time. As you may be aware, some of the nursery rhymes were that, just sweet little rhymes for children, and some of them were not. Some of them were very dark, very disturbing things, and they were said in a time when keep your head about you was good advice. So people would say things about politics, for example, that they couldn't say outright and disguise them. For example, Mary, Mary, quite contrary was about Mary Tudor, who had hundreds and hundreds of people horribly killed because she wanted to bring the Church of England back to the Vatican. And her garden was really the place where people were killed. And cockle bells and silver bells and cockle shells were instruments of torture, but I really didn't want to know any more about that. And Jack Horner was actually a person. His job was to take gifts to the king, and sometimes the gifts were land grants, and at one point he seems to or may have taken one for himself, which is when he pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." So these are some of the nursery rhymes that, where's remote? Okay, sure is on. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Humpty Dumpty jumped from a wall, thinking that he could take flight. But he realized as he started to fall that Isaac Newton was right. Now, a black sheep was considered bad luck because they couldn't dye the wool, so less money would come to the farmers who had a black sheep. But in this version, "Ba ba, black sheep, you have such lovely wool. When it comes to shearing time, it may make 3 bags full. Did you know that you look just the way you do because your ovine ancestors passed their genes to you?" Oh, sorry, going too fast. We need to update nursery rhymes. Not many kids herd sheep, and fewer eat curds and whey. Even fewer are named Bo Peep. Hungry Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a banana cream pie. His doctor said, "Jack, as a matter of fact, your cholesterol is way too high." Now this Mary, instead of being lopping off people's heads, was a gardener. "Mary, Mary, how extraordinary. How does your garden grow? With lots of sun and CO2 and adequate H2O. This was actually about Blackbeard the pirate, who paid his men with 6 pence and enough rye whiskey to carry in their pockets. Sing a song of 6 pence. 6 men called to testify. The real threat of perjury told them not to lie. When the hearings opened, the men began to sing, and that was very scary news to put before the king. Now, Old Mother Hubbard was actually Cardinal Wolsey, who went to the cupboard to get a bone, which was a divorce for Henry VIII, and the bone, she couldn't do it. So today's Mother Hubbard has life a little easier. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get a bottle of wine. But when she got there, the wine rack was bare, so she ordered some more online. Now, there's another Hubbard, Mr. Hubbard. While Mr. Hubbard was in his cupboard, he had a wonderful notion. People like fiction, he said with conviction. I'll set a wacky religion in motion. At one time, people selling their wares would go through the streets, go to people's houses, and call out their goodies. And of course, they smelled really good, so they attracted customers. Today's Muffin Man sings. Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man who sings about his food? It makes it seem so wonderful, I'm in a hungry mood. I wish it didn't sound so good. I wish that he'd be quiet. I cannot eat one bite of it. I'm on a low-carb diet. Little Boy Blue was the boy who didn't show up to call in the cattle, but today's little boy blowing a horn might be at scout camp. Little Boy Scout, come blow your horn. It's early morning. The sun is up, and it's early morn. Where is the boy who plays reveille? He's out in his tent, snoring heavily. A tisket, a tasket, a full shopping basket. It was too heavy to push anywhere. So I called Uber to ask it to pick up me and my basket and get me back home from there. Now, this one's kind of sad, so I hope you brought a Kleenex. Mary had a lot of glam. To boutiques she would go, and everywhere that Mary went, she spent a lot of dough. But one day on a shopping spree, she was told without a doubt she couldn't buy another thing. Her cards were all maxed out. Jack and Jill went on a date. Jack showed up an hour late. But then during dinner, he took a nap, and Jill stopped using that dating app. Little Bo Peep has lost her sheep and doesn't know where to find them, but she didn't think twice. They have a tracking device, and she'll soon be able to find them. And that's the last one. Anyway, thank you.